Good morning and happy Friday, students. Um, Things to talk about. We're done with Jesus in the sense that we're no longer going to be studying his portion of the Bible, right? Yesterday's Mass was about the ascension of Jesus, and we read what we need to know, right? Jesus ascends bodily into heaven. Now, the only part left of the Bible is what happened to Jesus' followers in the early church. And the book that most clearly tells us this is called Acts of the Apostles. You're going to notice that when Acts of the Apostles opens, it's addressed to Theophilus. That's the exact same Theophilus that is the opening person addressed to in the book of Luke. So, not every biblical scholar in the world agrees to this, but most do, that whoever wrote the book of Luke, most likely Luke, probably also wrote the book of Acts of the Apostles. Now, it's possible somebody just put in the line about Theophilus to connect it to Luke. Maybe they wanted to sound smart like Luke, but the writing is so similar that most scholars agree that whoever wrote Luke also wrote the Acts of the Apostles. So, what's going on in this story? So, chapter 1 opens up with a tale where Jesus is going to rise up. He's going to leave the apostles and tell them that the Holy Spirit is going to be coming upon them at some point. So I included only one paragraph. I only included one paragraph from chapter 1. What I really want to focus on is chapter 2. And this story is called the story of Pentecost. So Pentecost Sunday is next Sunday. Okay? To understand why this story is so important or what's really happening in the story, we have to first understand what it meant to be a Jew around the time of Jesus. So, let's discuss. There were 3 festivals each year that were Jewish high holidays. They meant that every Jew in the world had to return to Jerusalem 3 times a year. Now that's crazy. Imagine if 3 times a year you had to travel to a foreign country. Now remember that in the Mediterranean and in Europe, things are not as far away from each other as they are in America, but still, 3 times a year you had to travel all the way to Jerusalem. Now, not everybody went. However, during the time of Pentecost, during the time of the story, it's called the Festival of Weeks. Every Jew in the world is there. So you have people who speak every single language. Now, the apostles are hiding. They're afraid. They're scared. When they come out of that room, though, after the Holy Spirit lands on their tongue, they are just yelling about Jesus. Now, they're not speaking multiple languages. The miracle is the apostles are just speaking, but every person can hear them in their own language. It's funny, if you actually read it carefully, the first thing that people say when they hear them is, oh, these guys are drunk. So the apostles go out and they give this great speech. Peter is going to give a speech about who Jesus was. He's going to say, listen, Jews, you missed it. You missed the Messiah. He was here. And he goes on to talk about what the Messiah did, what Jesus did, what Peter really believes about Jesus. And I think what's so important to pay attention to is Peter used to be the failure. Peter used to be the one who always screwed up. Peter used to be the one who was always causing trouble. Now Peter has been transitioned to the guy who's the leader because he has the Holy Spirit, because he has God with him. So Peter is going to give a speech. It's going to be incredible. And on that day alone, 3,000 people are going to commit themselves to being Jews, to Christians. 3,000 people are going to convert. And at the end of the reading, it actually says, and the Lord added to their number those who are being saved every day. So we've gone from, okay, Jesus is with us. He takes care of us too. Oh my God, Jesus is gone. What are we going to do? They're hiding. They're literally hiding in a room to this miracle. Tongues of fire land in their mouths, and they go out and they just start teaching and preaching. It was so important to have that tongue of fire, that teaching and preaching that was so important, because what they were doing was illegal. To be an apostle, to be preaching about Jesus as the Son of God, as God himself, would be a certain death sentence. So please pay attention to their bravery and note that there was a series of miracles. That's really it. Go into the questions and have a great weekend.